adjusted as you can see. Alright, awesome. So welcome to Talkback, everyone. So again, this is an opportunity for you all to ask some questions to both of the shows, anything you want to know, anything that kind of stuck out to you during the performance that you have questions about that you have to get answered. So we're going to start. I just want everyone to introduce themselves, so we can start with like this upstage row, and then we can come down this way. So we can start with you.
Hey, I'm Alini.
Oh, and say your name and then what you did on the day.
I'm Alini, and I played Evelyn in Something Borrowed, Something Blue.
Till the end, thank you.
Hi, my name is Allie. I played Miranda in Something Borrowed, Something Blue.
Hi, I'm Isabella Marcone, and I'm the playwright for Something Borrowed, Something Blue.
I'm Emily Nardoni, and I played Rosalina in Something Borrowed, Something Blue.
Hello, I'm Kira, and I played Danny in Something Borrowed, Something Blue.
Yeah! I'm Megan, and I played Trisha in Something Borrowed, Something Blue.
I'm Mackenzie. I played Kiara in Something Borrowed, Something Blue.
Destiny.
I'm Destiny Armstrong, and I'm a swing, and I get killed in Something Borrowed.
Hi everybody, I'm Alex. I played Frederick, Dominic, and Brian in Something Borrowed, Something Blue.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I was the assistant director and stage manager for Something Borrowed, Something Blue.
Hi, I'm Avery Higgins. I was the director for Something Borrowed, Something Blue.
Hi, I'm Taylor Brown. I was the tour guides for Something Borrowed, Something Blue.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Santiago. I was Catherine, the wife, and the jazz musician in Something Borrowed, Something Blue.
Hi, I'm Kiara. I was the assistant director and stage manager for the Lost Cosmonauts.
Hi, I'm Sophia. I was the director for the Lost Cosmonauts.
Hi, my name is Taylor, and I'm the writer of the Lost Cosmonauts.
My name's Kyle. I was a dramaturg for The Lost Cosmonauts.
Hi, I'm Carolina, and I was the understudy for Springfield.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Matthew, and I was Springfield in The Lost Cosmonauts.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Dunstan. I was Autumn in The Lost Cosmonauts.
And I'm Corey, and I was the understudy for Autumn in The Lost Cosmonauts.
Awesome. So I want to go ahead and open the floor. We can take questions from the audience. We'll kind of bounce back and forth for questions for each show. So we can start with Something Borrowed, Something Blue. Does anyone have a question for any of the actors or the playwright or the director? Anything? Yes, you.
Why is it called Something Borrowed, Something Blue?
Good question. Alright, so obviously there's a phrase like Something Borrowed, Something Blue, weddings in general. And what's it called? There's also something borrowed in this play, which is time. And Something Blue, it's kind of like the feel, the kind of emotion, the for everything going on in the play.
Cool. Now switching over to the Lost Cosmonauts. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, it's for the writers. How did you come up with like such a unique theme of like temporal looping?
Oh, I am not sure. I watched a lot of Twilight Zone episodes. That kind of. But also, I just fell down the rabbit hole of like quantum entanglement and like time, the properties of time one day, and I guess the ending found itself, kind of. No pun intended.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, switching back over to Something Borrowed. Any questions? James.
How was it playing somebody that people just like are going to hate? Like,
I'm used to it. No, well, I had such an amazing cast and crew and awesome people that I got to work with that, it was kind of tough to get to have them dislike me, but Lord knows I tried. But no, it was fun. I like to think that with all the people that I got to work with, I had such like a singling out, but you know, we talked about, and I was like, are you okay? Like, I'm gonna be a little intense. You know, do you have any offensive gates today or anything like that?
Just intimacy
just
practices.
Intimacy direction, yes. And I just wanted to make sure that they were well aware that, like, when I'm on stage, like, I'm going to have my intensity, but you guys, hopefully they know me personally, and I've set up a relationship where they can trust me to be able to have that. And I think it came across with the intensity because I had such a great level of comfort with these people. So thank you all. Thank you very much.
Cool. Switching it back over to the last Cosmonauts. We can take Andre and then Raylan.
Okay. I have like a two-part question. So is this based off of real events? I know in the recording there was like the 1957 space recording they found or something like that.
Sure. So this actually, well, it's a conspiracy. In the 1950s, this was big news, but it's not. It hasn't been proven, but it has been unproven either. Like the recording said, there were no documented space missions at this time, and the American government can kind of attest to that, unless they were running things that we couldn't see at the time, which didn't seem like a possibility. So as of right now, it's a conspiracy theory, a debunked conspiracy theory, but...
Cool. Kyle, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No. Well, the second part was gonna be like, what was like the dramaturgical work behind this like realistic event that you like played with and made a play around?
It was, what I did was a lot of research about like space travel, how that works, and also ideas about time, like the idea of time travel and how that can work, per se. So it was a lot of studying that and then presenting my work.
Oh, physics.
Thanks, Andre. All right, Raylan?
So for you guys as actors, there's a lot of high points and low points in the show. So I was wondering what you guys went through to prepare for this role and then also pace yourself throughout, knowing that it's like a loop, but then also like all the different points you have to hit.
Yeah. So we actually spent, I think, a good like week of rehearsal just discussing what exactly the show meant. Because honestly, I read it the first time and I was like, oh, Taylor, you accidentally put the beginning at the end. Like, it went completely over my head. So we spent like a full week, I'm telling you, just dissecting how this relates to our characters and what that means. Like, we found two different viewpoints for it. Either we are in a time loop continuum sort of thing, or we are in a purgatory of sorts. And when I hit my head, so
that's what they believe. That's what they believe. I think it's purgatory.
I think
still have a debate.
Anyway, it was very open for interpretation, but that led us to believe, like, is there a way to get out of it? Why are our characters stuck in this? What do we have left to accomplish? And that was just a really beautiful way to find that moment. And obviously, like, working together, like Matt and I were already like pretty good friends, but we just so you just have to like your guest.
Yeah, and just adding on to that, we worked very closely with both Taylor and Sophia. We really took a lot of care and attention to make sure that just everything came across the way it was supposed to, and then especially with that ending, we really made sure to like make it as identical as we could to the beginning of the play, so that would come across. It was really just a lot of studying the script and just really feeling it out and getting that pacing down. And yeah, just striking up that good, a good working relationship with Dunstan here helped a lot. Just being able to really scream at each other at the top of our lungs. So, yeah.
Awesome. Sophia, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, just beating a lot of dead horses. Like we went over certain scenes over and over and over again, and I was like, no, too fast. No, too slow. Actually, that last one is better. Let's do it again, see if you can replicate that. So we kind of just like went over the script like with a fine-tooth comb of just like, how does this feel? And I was never afraid to stop them in the middle of a good run and be like, good, but let's go back and start over from the beginning, actually. So yeah, just like I'm grateful I had a cast that let me torture them.
Awesome. Going back to something Barbie. you to sit to for the other show.
This is for something borrowed, right?
Yeah.
So like, I really like your guys' chemistry. So I wanted to see like what you guys did beforehand to like prep, or like if any of you personally identify with your characters and y'all had some fights in there or anything.
I can answer this. A really funny story that we have is, one rehearsal we were having, somebody was like, hey, do you mind if I leave like 30 minutes early because there is a Harry Potter movie showing? So we all decided we were all going to go see this movie together, and it was a great cast bonding experience.
I will say that
the entire rehearsal I was not at.
Also, one of the days Avery had us, our director Avery had us have like a really fun run through where we like really wouldn't say the lines that we had. We would just sort of paraphrase them the way that we wanted. And a lot of inside jokes came from that, and then a lot of improvised moments that we ended up putting in the show came from that. And like we all quote things that we said that day, and it made us like really close.
I can also speak on that. It was very important for me that these 6 women, as well as their swings, were very comfortable with each other, considering they had such a angry character coming in at the end that could lead them to feeling unsafe if I didn't take care of them. So I think it was a good month before I even had Alex come into our rehearsal space, because I wanted all of them to feel safe with each other, but also safe with me and Maddie. Where I wouldn't let anything happen to them, Maddie wouldn't let anything happen to them, and like Alex said, once they came in, I made sure off the bat that like Alex was thrown in so that they felt safe around this man that they haven't seen for a month that was gonna come yell at them and murder 2 of our cast members right in front of them. So it's very important that like in rehearsal, out of rehearsal, they were finding moments to joke with me, Maddie, each other, and be super comfortable in the space.
Yeah, and I can say even for the murder scenes, we had a student who's trained in fight choreography come in and really just take time safely working those scenes, making sure that the ladies felt comfortable with kind of being like handled in that certain fashion. And every single day before rehearsals, we do a fight call, which is when we practice it. And the first question is always like, Stephanie, was that okay? Destiny, like, did you feel okay with that? So we also kind of have that element going as well. Awesome, great question. Do we have another question for Something Borrowed? Yes.
I'd like to ask the writer, other than the fact that New Orleans is a very funny town, were there any other reasons why you chose it as the backdrop for the story?
Yes, I did. I was actually born in New Orleans, so that was a big inspiration. I didn't live there for very long. I moved out of state to Florida, Miami, when Hurricane Katrina hit, but it still is a big inspiration. The food, I mean, the culture and everything, it's just a big influence. So I definitely wanted to do something that kind of rooted back to that. Yeah.
Awesome. Great question. Now, I just wanted, before we kind of keep taking audience questions, do either of the playwrights have any questions that they wanted to throw out to the audience about anything?
Oh, you're kind of putting us on the spot.
Like anything that you want to know, like it landed, or like they have,
Maybe lit.
Okay, cool. We can keep taking questions. Anyone? Oh, you got one. Sorry, did you?
So I want to know, what was your guys' favorite scene or favorite character from either one of our plays?
I really liked the moment when they all turned into like the ghosts, and they were like, "Don't do it." And then the two drunk girls were like, "Please." That really stayed in my mind because it was like such a sharp contrast from what they had done like 2 seconds ago. So I was like, whoa, that like kind of kicked me in the face. And then like, I don't know, I really liked that shift there.
Awesome. Do you have one over there?
Yeah, the whole cast was really great, but I really liked the girl in the red dress.
Woo!
Killed it. Delivered the lines incredibly. I don't have a lot of
James?
My favorite moment was when you guys all, like, it was so synchronized, you guys all turned against him at the same time. When he kind of like leaned forward to grab her, and they all were like, "Hey, yo, don't do that!" Like, like they all like protected her like a group, and it was really cool. It was a good moment.
Awesome. Wait, Andy over here, right here. I'll get to you, Sophia, I promise.
I would say my favorite part about the Cosmonauts was Springfield's like explanation with the quantum entanglement. Yeah, it's just a mixture of your voice, the way you act out. It was fantastic.
Can we get a round of applause for Matt's voice?
Cool. Any more for Isabella's question?
I loved how every single character had like a moment where as I was watching, I was like, oh, that's my favorite. Oh, no, not that one's my favorite. It's so much fun watching.
Jackie?
I like the girl that said slay.
And Sophia?
Okay, I have two, and I was prepared for this question. My first one is when Kiara goes, "You guys really think he's gonna kill me?" And then when Miranda goes, "You," and then Trisha goes, "Asshole!"
Okay, well then my favorite part of Cosmonauts realistically is the end. When they like wait to the moment and it's like started over again. I watched it opening night on Thursday. I'm like sitting right there and I kind of like guessed it was gonna happen a little bit, but I was like, no, I'm wrong. And then it did happen. I was like, shut up. Like I'm sitting there and as you saw, it is a quiet show. I sit there like, shut up. It was so cool and they were so perfect. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
Awesome. Wonderful. Okay, Gigi. Well, last one.
I'm just partial to Alex coming.
Yeah.
Yes, Matt, excellent voice. But if you like the sound of my voice, when it's not yelling
You have a
or
podcast?
breaking out, I have the University of Central Florida's official podcast called Nights Do That. 20 episodes, 21 on Monday for people like President Cartwright, Terry Mohajer, lots of amazing people involved with the university. Because the people make UCF great. I think we saw that tonight. Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts.
I don't want to take up much more of your time. Do we have one more question about anything that you're dying to ask? Oh, Gigi, since you already got a question.
So I wanted to ask the Cosmonauts peeps, my swings, how do you see your dynamic and your characterization of these two? How is that played differently from Dunstan and Natalie? Corey, you want to go first?
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. We had the opportunity throughout the rehearsal process to mix and match each of us in each position. And it was a really interesting dynamic to see how I work with Matt versus how Carolina works with Dunstan versus how we work together. It's very interesting, especially with the power dynamic of Autumn is the one who's in charge. I am like a foot shorter than Matt. So looking at Matt saying, that's in order! But yeah, overall, it was a really fun experience.
Yeah, when I was interpreting the role of Springfield, I immediately was like, all right, guy thinks he's hilarious, such a smart ass, and I was like, perfect, this is great, I can do this. And even Matt and I had like a really long conversation about like a lot of the dialogue and Springfield as a character and their own aspirations, their goals, and a lot of sort of what occurs in the play, their fears, and we sort of established more or less, like we have our own interpretations, but at its core we know who Springfield is. And it was also a really great opportunity to be Dunstan Springfield for rehearsal and to see that dynamic. It was more, I was definitely really leaning to the smart ass stuff. And what did you say it was? Yeah, it was definitely.
It was really good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And yeah, I was definitely being kind of mean and flirty, but yeah, it was great. It was great. It was a really wonderful experience. So.
Awesome. Great question, Gigi. Thank you. Thank you so much for all of your questions.
We have a question for the audience.
Big
Did the
real-
narrator
bigger
sound
real-
like Matt?
What?
Did the narrator sound like Matt?
Yes.
I know.
It's alrighty. Awesome. Thank you all so much. Me and Sam are graduating. We just want to recognize the new artistic director and the new company stage manager for next year. So really fast, our new company stage manager is going to be Miss Avery Higgins. And our new artistic director is going to be Gian Ariana.